Hello and welcome to Learning with Lisa. In today's video we are learning all about animals and plants that live in our oceans. We will also learn how to look after the ocean as well. While you are watching, keep a lookout for the pink seahorse. Tell me how many times it appears at the end of the video. So, what is an ocean? Oceans are large areas of salt water. Oceans and seas cover over 70% of the Earth's surface. They contain many weird and exciting creatures. Did you know that the ocean is home to the world's largest animal, the blue whale? Blue whales can be found in all major oceans. Oceans are one of my favourite habitats because they contain the greatest variety of life. Octopuses, dolphins, sharks, seahorses, jellyfish, starfish, turtles, and of course fish all live in the ocean too. Sadly, our oceans and seas and the creatures that live in them are at risk from a number of different things. Our oceans contain many fish, but unfortunately, fishing has become a big problem. If fishermen catch too many fish, there will be less adult fish to have babies, and gradually there will be less and less fish left in the sea. This is called overfishing. Many sea creatures such as dolphins and turtles are at risk too. Many sea creatures such as dolphins and turtles get tangled up in fishing nets, which might injure them or cause them to die. Blue whales are approximately 30 metres long. They are the largest animal known to have existed, and their heart is as big as a small car. Approximately 50% of turtles are faced with extinction. Turtles lay their eggs on sandy beaches, but only 1 in every 1,000 turtles grow up into adults. Did you know that a turtle's favourite food is jellyfish? Luckily, there is something we can do to try to help the fish. We can encourage people to buy fish that have been caught in a responsible and sustainable way, which means encouraging fishermen to only catch fish in places where there are many fish and the stock of fish will not get used up. All sea creatures are at risk from pollution too. Toxins or poisons from pollution, including sewerage and factory waste, are spread throughout our oceans. They can be very dangerous because they can spread through the food chain and get passed on to many different creatures. Let's look at an example of a food chain. Toxins found in plankton can get eaten by fish, who can then pass it on to a seal if it eats the fish. The seal can then pass it on to the shark if the shark eats the seal. Rubbish is also a problem too, because sea creatures can get tangled up in things like plastic bags. This is a big problem because plastic takes many years to break down, which means it can cause problems for a very long time. Let's look at what we can do to keep our oceans clean. Well, first of all, we need to remember to put all our rubbish into bins. so it does not end up in the sea. We can also try to stop using so much plastic. Supermarkets are making a big effort to stop giving away plastic carrier bags. Instead, they are encouraging people to bring their own reusable bags that can be used over and over again. Use reusable bags and make sure plastic bags don't end up in the sea. More than 1 million sea creatures are killed every year due to plastic. Try to avoid buying things in lots of packaging. Try to encourage people to buy things like apples and bananas separately instead of ones that have been wrapped in plastic. You could also stop using single-use plastic. Use reusable cutlery and cups instead. Help stop pollution from getting into the sea by thinking about what you flush down the toilet. Did you know what you flush down the toilet often ends up in the sea? Only flush toilet paper and never wet wipes, as these don't break down like toilet paper and can harm animals in the ocean. Waste from factories adds to the pollution problem too. We can help factories create less waste by recycling as much as we can. Cans, bottles, cardboard and glass can all be turned into new things. Doing something as simple as turning the tap off when not using water could also help. Getting clean drinking water uses lots of energy and produces pollution too. Seabirds need oceans to be clean too. Can you think why? That's right, they need to eat fish from the sea. As well as animals, different sorts of plants can be found in the ocean too. The most common ones are kelp, algae, seagrass and phytoplankton. Some attach themselves to the ocean floor and others float in the water. Plants such as seagrasses provide a habitat for small fish and other creatures. These animals hide from predators in the grasses, and some fish also feed on the grasses too. Let's look at coral reefs. Reefs are made out of living creatures called coral. Coral reefs are grown in shallow, clean water, in places where there are warm temperatures all year round. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is a famous coral reef. The first coral reefs were formed over 240 million years ago. That's before dinosaurs! Most common reefs today are between 5,000 and 10,000 years old. Did you know that more wildlife lives around coral reefs than in any other part of the ocean? Coral reefs are home to a quarter of the world's fish. Starfish, sea turtles, seahorses. Lots of animals who live on the reef camouflage themselves to blend amongst the coral, either to stay safe from other animals or to hide as they hunt. Reefs provide them with everything they need, including food and shelter. Just like sea creatures, coral reefs are under threat too. Approximately 75% of the world's coral reefs are threatened from pollution, from spilling into oceans, damage from ships, and climatic change, which makes the weather warmer and more acidic. Would you like to help save coral reefs? One way to do this is to remind people who dive to look at coral, but not to touch it, as touching can sometimes kill the coral. Let us look at the world's 5 main oceans. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. It covers 1/3 of the Earth's surface. It separates Asia and Australia from America. 60% of the world's fish comes from the Pacific Ocean. But did you know that it is shrinking by just over 2 centimetres every year? The second largest ocean is the Atlantic Ocean. It separates Europe and Africa from America. It is the world's saltiest sea and very popular with sharks. The Indian Ocean is the third largest ocean and is home to the Great Barrier Reef. It separates East Africa from Australia. It is the warmest ocean. The fourth largest ocean is the Southern Ocean. It is found in the South Pole, which is in the Southern Hemisphere. It is home to the world's largest penguin, the emperor penguin, who lives on the ice of the Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean is home to 90% of the world's ice. The last ocean we are going to look at is the Arctic Ocean. It is situated primarily around the North Pole, and it is found in the Northern Hemisphere. It is the smallest and shallowest ocean. Icebergs often form or break away from glaciers, which pose a threat to ships if they hit them. For a good part of the year, the Arctic is covered in ice. The Arctic Ocean is home to the polar bear. Polar bears in the Arctic have been particularly threatened by global warming. Let us look at global warming in more detail. Carbon dioxide is released into the air by burning of coal, natural gas and oil. Fossil fuels get trapped into the atmosphere, and this increases the Earth's temperature. This rise in temperature causes glaciers to melt and also for ocean levels to rise. As a result, polar bears have less ice to hunt, and cities near the coast are at risk of flooding. So, what can we do to help slow down global warming? Well, we need to stop putting so many fossil fuels into the atmosphere. We can try to remember to switch off lights when they are not needed. Using less electricity means burning less fossil fuels. We can also try to save paper by using both sides. And remember to put paper we no longer need into the recycling bin so it can be reused in other ways. Paper is made from trees. If we use less paper, fewer trees will need to be chopped down, and there will be more trees to help clean the air by reducing carbon dioxide. We could also grow our own trees to help clean the air. When taking a short journey, try walking or cycling instead of travelling by car, as this reduces traffic pollution. On cold days, wear more clothes instead of putting the heater on and burning fossil fuels. Finally, mend things instead of buying new. The less things we buy, the less fossil fuels will be released from the factories making them. Polar bears have also suffered from oil spills. The Arctic is considered a good place to collect oil and gas, but sadly, drilling for oil poses a threat to our wildlife. So now you know all about the animals and plants that live in our oceans and what we can do to protect them. Why not try doing the quiz to see how much you can remember? What does the phrase overfishing mean? Fishing using nets, catching too many fish, or fishing using a rod? Overfishing means catching too many fish. Which one of these is not found in the ocean? Lavender, seahorse, coral. Lavender is not found in the ocean. Where do turtles lay their eggs? In the ocean, on rocks, on a sandy beach. Turtles lay their eggs on sandy beaches. What size is the heart of a blue whale? The size of the mouse? The size of a small car? The size of a human heart? The answer is the size of a small car. Which one of these is not a threat to dolphins? Sharks, fishing nets, octopus? The answer is octopus. What is kelp? A fish? A plant? A shark? Kelp is a plant. What is a coral reef? A plant? A rock? A creature? Coral reef is a creature. How many oceans are there? 12, 5, 10. The answer is 5. What is the name of the largest ocean? Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic? The largest ocean is the Pacific Ocean. Which one of these is not a threat to the Arctic Ocean? Oil, fossil fuels, polar bears? Polar bears are not a threat to the Arctic Ocean. It's now time to look at some photos I have taken of different sea creatures, plants and coral. We've now finished in all about the ocean. How many times did the seahorse appear? I saw it 13 times. Were you right? I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, and remember to give it a like if you enjoyed it. Bye bye for now. Bye.